Video series about functions. Today we're doing the horizontal line test. So the horizontal line test is used to determine if a function is one-to-one, or injective. Sometimes you'll see the words one-to-one, sometimes you'll see the word injective. Now, this question asks, which of the functions graphed below are actually one-to-one? Which ones are one-to-one and which ones are not? That's what you're trying to figure out. And this horizontal line test is very similar to the vertical line test. If you draw a horizontal line anywhere on the graph and it goes through more than one point, then your function cannot be one-to-one. So let me go ahead and change my color to red and we'll draw some horizontal lines. So this first function is y equals x plus 2. Y equals x plus 2. It's just a straight line, right? So if I was to draw a horizontal line here, it only goes through one point, this point right here. If I was to draw a horizontal line up here, it would only go through one point, this point right here. So every single line that I draw only goes through one point. That means that this function passes the horizontal line test. So it is one-to-one. It is one-to-one. Moving on to the next graph, this is y equals x cubed. Y equals x cubed. If you ever graphed it, you would know the shape. But we want to determine if it's one-to-one or not. So we're going to use the horizontal line test. So I'm going to draw straight horizontal lines pretty much anywhere. And no matter where I draw these lines, they only go through one point. I can draw 3 lines, and they all only go through one point, no matter where I draw the line. So this function passes the horizontal line test. It is also one-to-one. It is also one-to-one. All right, the next function is y equals x squared. Y equals x squared. And if you've ever graphed y equals x squared, you're going to get this U shape. The U shape is also called a parabola. And if I was to draw a horizontal line, it would go through 2 points. Right here and right here. And no matter where I draw it, it's always going to go through 2 points. Except probably down here on the x-axis. But everywhere else, it goes through twice. So this function is not one-to-one. This function is not one-to-one. All right, so moving on to the fourth graph, this is going to be y equals the cube root of x. The cube root of x kind of has an S shape to it, and no matter where you draw your horizontal lines, they'll only go through one point. So no matter where you draw these horizontal lines, they only cross the function at one point. So that means this function is indeed one-to-one, and it passes the horizontal line test. All right, and the last function we're going to do is the absolute value function. Y equals the absolute value of x. Notice it has that V shape. So wherever I draw a horizontal line, it'll go through 2 points. I can draw it here. I can draw it here. The only place where I can draw the line where it'll only go through one point is down here on the x-axis, right here at the vertex. But anywhere else, any horizontal line will go through 2 points. So this function is not one-to-one. And sometimes when I write one-to-one, I'll do like a shorthand, and one of the short ways to write it is 1, 2, 1. Okay? So that's just another way to write it. This function is not one-to-one because it fails the horizontal line test. So that's all it is. It's used to determine if a function is one-to-one, and another word for one-to-one is injective. One-to-one. And that is the horizontal line test. So I hope that helps.